Elder James Johnson has been in the headlines recently for his controversial comments during a press conference at the Andrew Market in North Charleston. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with him one-on-one.
Elder Johnson.
Finally got it.
Finally. Thank God.
I apologize because I'm really busy. You know, we have built 8 chapters around the state with a lot of victories, and I'm crisscrossing the state to all those chapters, helping them out, and also building more chapters across the state of South Carolina. I feel that since the election of Donald Trump, we have to actually put chapters in every area where there's a large amount of blacks living, simply because the racism and discrimination is widespread now. Hate groups in South Carolina now, they reported 19 hate groups in South Carolina. Actually, half of them popped up since Donald Trump. So we have a serious problem in the state of South Carolina, and now we know that the Republican in the Senate and the House has now voted to approve open carry of weapons in South Carolina. We have a serious problem already with weapons in South Carolina. I think that's a license to kill there.
Let me take you back, because obviously you've been headline news as much as I've seen you on television, heard about you in the newspaper. A couple of headlines stuck out to me. This, man to review James Johnson status. Another one, it says demonstration held at Andrews Market at the video sword and gun was thrown out. And, you know, obviously on a suspect. Who's Elder James Johnson these days?
Elder James Johnson is the face of NAN, regardless if they want to say it is or not. I am the face of NAN. I'm very disappointed in NAN itself. To me, I think they threw me under the bus. I don't think as much as national. I think it's Nelson Rivers for his own personal reasons, and I don't want to ever work with him again. I want to say to your audience so they can understand the makeup of NAN.
Okay.
I don't have to work with Nelson Rivers. Nelson Rivers is not over the state chapters or over any of the chapters in South Carolina. I am. Nelson is the Vice President of Religious Affairs for Reverend Sharpton. That's all. So if I don't feel like I need to work with him on issues in South Carolina, I will not. And especially after a couple of days of his press conference, the whole community is angry. One thing about it is that I have the support of the community because the community understands what is happening in the community when it comes to those mom and pop stores that's centered in our community.
Right.
So I've been getting thousands of calls and support. Regardless if it's NAN, myself,
Right.
I will fight for the people of Charleston and the people of South Carolina. I've been doing it long before NAN even came to Charleston. When I came into NAN, there were only 1 active chapters in South Carolina, and that was the one in Charleston. I was president of that one in Charleston. The Reverend Sharpton decided he wanted to make me the state president. Now we have 8 chapters and steady growing. We had a victory in Hilton Head with the Gallagher community to where they wanted to stop them from opening up their business and still snatching their land. The president down there, Mr. Scott, and I stand before the national media and say that we will protest the golf tournament that's coming there this month. And things change. That's a victory for NAN. We had victory in now we got chapters in Walterboro. So with that chapter now, we'll be seeking a lawsuit on the city of Walterboro because they have no black representation, because they're 59% black. You know, we had a victory with the Citadel here in Charleston. We had a victory with the food workers at Charleston County School. The man who we demonstrated and protested, Walter Campbell, no longer in charge of the workers there at the school. You know, they had people working for 10 years temporary. NAN changed that. There's no more temporary workers. You know, they got an education plan going on in Charleston County School. You know, they changed a whole lot. NAN do not broadcast what they do, but we are a big asset in the state of South Carolina. You know, we got chapters now in Johnsonville, Hemingway,
Right.
Williamsburg
Right.
County. Yeah, that those people are dealing with the education down there that's so poor. So, we're not tooting our horn, but we have made a big difference in the state of South Carolina. I can tell you dozens more victories. We went down to Alcalute, South Carolina, where the 12-year-old white boy poured gas on the back of a 6-year-old black boy. We've been able to reopen that investigation, and now they will not give that white 12-year-old 90 days of home arrest. Now it's being reinvestigated. He will be sent to Columbia for evaluation, and they will start over. In this day and age, you just don't do that. You don't pour gasoline, a lighter fluid on the back of a 6-year-old and set him on fire. There's several victories that NAN have had in the state of South Carolina. But what puzzles me and what people are talking to, you have people calling New York City. They figure that they've thrown NAN, Elder Johnson, under the bus. And like I said earlier, I don't believe it's New York City. I believe it's here locally with Nelson Rivers.
Okay, you said no, you don't want to potentially work with him again.
No, I don't. Let me tell you what we have
Okay.
built here so you can understand. We have now in a 10-story office building, NAN's office there.
Right.
We have now have the 501c3
Right.
that we can now help people across the state. Not only that, we now have a food bank that we feed people every Tuesday and every Thursday. We have a domestic violence program to across the state of South Carolina to where we now involved in domestic violence. Not only that, suicide prevention. We know that the suicide prevention for young black males is on the rise. We have all this here, Senate based here in Charleston with all the chapters across the state. I feel very disappointed. Very disappointed. I want to make myself clear. I can do this with a civil rights organization that I create, or any other one of the civil rights organizations I've been asked to come through. But for them to publicly throw me under the bus like they did, I am very disappointed.
Okay, you say you potentially don't want to work with Nelson again.
No.
What is your relationship with Reverend Al Sharpton?
Reverend Al Sharpton and I communicate.
Okay.
We do communicate.
Okay.
But I have not heard from Reverend Al Sharpton since this incident happened. I have not. I've sent 2 letters, but I have not gotten a call from him at all. At all. So that indicated to me that here locally, for what motive of reasons Nelson Rivers is trying to do, that's his business, but it won't work because I got the support of the community, white and black.
Wow.
I got hundreds of calls from whites and blacks supporting me. Oh, if I had to do it over again, I probably would word it differently.
Yeah, I wanted to take you to that because, let's see here. It says this. You said this quote, in a 10-mile radius, we have 34 Arab or foreign stores within our community. We're not going to allow them to rape our community anymore. They need to go back to their country where their laws are different from our laws. Mm-hmm. We're sending a message to all the Arab and the foreign stores in North Charleston and the city of Charleston that we're going to stop you from taking money out of our community and putting none back. Mm-hmm. What is your definition of rape our community?
Taking money out of our community, raping our community, taking wealth. Out of every dollar that was spent in stores in North Charleston and the city of Charleston, right, 7 cents only circle in our community. These stores have made millions of dollars in our community. None of those dollars have come back to our community. We have a serious problem in our community with drugs, drug selling, education, crime. We got some serious problem. Probably the only nationality people have that problem, that serious problem in the state of South Carolina. And these dollars are not going back in the community to help the people that have these problems. And I'm planning on doing something about it. I am. We want a portion of that money to come back in the community for education, for drug rehabilitation, for self-testing drug kits on every family mantelpiece who want one on their mantelpiece. We also want scholarship funds. When you look at the numbers in the store, Andrew neighborhood store,
Right.
700 people, and this coming from the owner, 700 people visit that store every single day. And you do the numbers, let's say 700 times 20, let's just do the numbers on that. You know how much money they make in a day? For none of that money to go back into the community, and the disrespect that the women that came to me and say that these guys in that particular store has invited them to their private parts. You know, no, there's no way I want to tolerate that.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm going to do that. Just the beginning of a door that's just open. That Elder Johnson, and read my lips, I didn't say National Action Network, I said Elder Johnson will address to the end. So we have a problem. We want to change. We've been on the city of North Charleston and the city of Charleston to put programs and buildings in our community in which they have not done enough. But we have not reached out to the stores that take the money out of our community. We're not only talking about the mom and pop stores in our community. We're talking about Burger King. We're talking about McDonald's. We're talking about Church's Chicken. We're talking about these hair beauty supply stores. Right. We will be addressing all of those businesses who take money out of our community.
And let me go back because you also said this. They need to go back to their country where their laws are different from our laws. So what are their laws in your mind?
Well, evidently they demonstrate their laws in their mind with the sword by beating this young man with a sword. And we believe if the guy was not their feminist, they might have killed that man if he was the only one in the store, and they could have justified it. And maybe I misspoke on their laws also.
Okay.
You know, their laws also, but what we don't want. When we look at that video,
right.
Quincy, it looked like it wasn't in the United States. It looked like it was in another country. When we look at that video, we don't see people in America with swords and putting guns to the back of people's head in an execution style. You know, we don't see that here. So yeah, out of emotion, I might have spoke, and if I had to redo that, but I want everybody to hear me and hear me clearly. I don't paint a broad picture of a nationality of people. I want everybody to understand that. I was talking about the two people who was committing what I think that crime at Andrew's store. So not sending a message out to because Donald Trump saying he want Muslim and Mexican to leave America. That's not my view. You know, when I saw that,
right.
It was wrong.
And what's that message? You say we're sending a message to all Arabs in the foreign stores in North Charleston and the city of Charleston, like you said earlier, that we're going to stop you from taking money out of our community and putting none back.
That's what I'm saying. The message speaks for itself. That's what we're going to do. If we want to sit down at the table, in which we already have a meeting to sit down at the table on next week with some of the owners of the store, to sit down at the table, to sit down and see what we can work out to at least put at least 40 to 50% of each dollars back into the community. That's what we want. If we can't do that and we see that they continue pulling money out of our community and don't want to put any money back in the community, then we will be in front of their stores, just as simple as that, with our signs. Put money in the community.
And what will be your first one-on-one question with those owners?
Well, the first one-on-one question with those owners is that we want you to help us in the problems that we have in our community. We're going to lay out the problems that we have in our community. We're going to lay out the problems with the drugs problems, the crime problems, the gun problems, all the problems that we have in our community. Buildings in our community, community centers, help build community centers. This is what we're going to lay out to them. And we're going to ask them we can work together. Now, don't make no mistake about it. Okay. I don't have a problem with them being in the community. Okay. Not at all. Okay. You know, because some people don't have transportation to get to the store.
Right.
But what we want to do is let them know that you're pulling the dollars out of our community. We want you to put dollars back into the community. And another thing that I want completely out of those stores, they got drug paraphernalia just about in all those stores. It can change the scenery about the drug paraphernalia when they put a flower or something on it, and it changed the meaning of it. Okay. But we know what it is for. It's out there to smoke drugs in it. We want it out of the community completely. Our kids walking out of that store and see those things, we want it out. We want them to stop putting open barrels of beer in front of the store. So when our kids walk in the store, they see all these beers in front of the store. We want that completely out. Because you know one thing? They wouldn't do it in the white community. They would not put that in the white community. You ask yourself and you answer the question yourself, why they're in our community? Why they're centered in the black community? Because they have studied our community. They know where the dollars is. They know where the food stamps is. And most of the food in that store are bad for our people. Are very bad. They don't have vegetable in those stores. A nutrition to help our kids. They don't have these things. They put on, they have Doritos, potato chips, and all these other stuff that's bad for our kids. You know, for the family in those communities. But some of the families can't do no better. They go there. They go there and they buy $50 worth of potato chips and different stuff like that. And we want to be able to change that. If they can put potato chips in bad snacks in that store, they can have a rack of vegetable in that store that we want that we want them to put in the store.
Let me take you back to NAN, because obviously I want to talk to you about the mission statement. It says, basically it's called, fight for one standard of justice, decency, and equal opportunities for all people, regardless of race, religion, nationality, or gender.
We do that. We do that. All race of people. We do that. I fought for for Latinos communities. I fought for obvious African American community, white community. We do that. But where the injustice coming at? That's where we fight injustice also, and we feel that in Andrew's store was injustice. We're caught on tape. I'm pretty sure if they had to do it all over, they probably wouldn't allow a guy to film in the store. But now it's out in the open. It's around the world. It's around the world now, and it don't look good at all. So we also fight, brother, for injustice. Also, you know, let me ask you a question. If I didn't speak out on this, who would have? If I didn't speak, who would have? You know, I've been a one-man army for many, many years. Okay. And I will continue doing that. Oh. You know, so who would have did it? You think you would have this results of me sitting with you about that question here today if I didn't bring it up? You know, I'm proud of my record for the last 32 years. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it. And as long as God gives me breath in this body, I will be fighting for all people, not only our people, all people.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, with the Andrew's Food Store, you know, on Dorchester Road, and this incident that took place a couple of days ago, this might be a question off the beaten path, but what is the state of North Charleston in your mind?
In what reason? And how?
I mean, crime, livability. You live there. What is your definition of North Charleston right now?
My definition of North Charleston is that they've forgotten the minority community. Completely have forgotten the minority. We still live in communities, in totally black communities, in substandard homes. We still got ditches running through our community. Money is not being put in recreation. When you have North Charleston putting $7.3 million in an influence community, and you look at Agaby, who just now, after 30 years, getting a restroom on their baseball field, after 30 years, just completed about a month ago. When you look at that, and you look at homes in Agaby that should be in a third world country, and you look at all that, then we know in the last 20 years, this administration were unfair when it comes to African American community. The police department, I think, personally, I don't think this police chief here should be in the helm of this police department. He have not demonstrated that he can control this police department. You know, the stop has stopped, but the racism from the police department has increased. And recently, in recent weeks, they fired a police officer being racist on Thug Life.
Oh, they demoted him now.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I should say they demoted him, but he can't even catch a dog now. That's how far he's been demoted down. you know, and you had policemen who supported Michael Slager. So the racism is there, you know. The outcry of the community has been able to stop the racial profiling that's been going on in North Charleston for many years. But right now, I believe they need to rebuild that police department completely from the ground up.
How?
How? By getting rid of most of the people at the top. And the racism and diversity training needs to be in there. Because every 30 to 90 days, something come out racist about North Charleston Police Department. Not only that, they just fired somebody in the fire department who made some regulatory statements about the kids on the bus when they had the incidents on the bus in North Charleston. She was fired. So diversity training must be in North Charleston. Mm-hmm. It has to be, in order to deal with the racism that's coming from this police department.
You talk about Michael Slager. Obviously, it's been 2 years since Walter Scott was killed. Mm-hmm. When you look back at 2 years from then to right now, what is the biggest thing that sticks out to you?
The biggest thing that's sticking from right now is in what? North Charleston, have a trial.
Well, you can talk about all of that.
Well, I think to listen, Wilson is trying to do the best she can in this. I really think that she wants a conviction. And she said to me in the meeting that she will have a second trial, and I can appreciate that. I think that the first trial, you know, he should have been gone to jail and convicted. But you know, our laws here in South Carolina says there's only one person can have a hanged jury if one person decided that this person is not guilty. My hope is that federal trial will convict him on charges, civil rights violation. We hope that will happen. But his faith, he has 2 more trials, you know, and we hope that one of those trials will put him behind bars for 30 years.
Elder James Johnson, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
I appreciate it.
Finally.
I appreciate you too, brother.
Anytime.
All right.
Thank
Let's
you.
do it again.
We will.
All
We
right.
will.